I want to welcome everyone to the regular board meeting for the Board of Trustees for the West Ada School District. It is Monday, March 9th, 2026 at 6 p.m. We're very grateful this evening to have Pepper Ridge Elementary here to lead us in the pledge. Will everyone please stand?
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We want to get a quick picture, so if all the kids will stay up here. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
Madam Chair, there are none.
All right, as our guests step off, I'll turn the time over to Dr. Bubb for reports and spotlights.
Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, really, as we kind of culminate winter season, I just want to celebrate all of our high school athletics and activities. There are 8 available state championships that happen at this time of year in the winter sports. Of the 8 available, 6 state championships went through West Ada schools. So a huge congratulations. The only 2 sports that we did not take a state championship in was boys basketball. We took 2nd place, and cheer, we also took 2nd place as a district. So congratulations to all of them. A lot goes into that. The second celebration that I'll give really quick is last Wednesday we had a college and career fair over at Mountain View High School. A lot of work goes into that. We had over 100 vendors there, not just people that are looking for looking for people to hire today, but really anything from long-term careers, short-term high school employment, a little bit of everything was there. We also had colleges there to give students a glimpse of what that 5th year might look like. So huge celebration to Kylie Bendorf, to all of our college and career counselors who put a ton of work, and I'm sure a lot of other hands went into making that event happen. But it was a great event for everybody. And on the heels of some CTE celebrations tonight, just another great example of preparing kids' college and career readiness. So congratulations to Kylie and her team. And now I would like to bring up Pepper Ridge Elementary and Lisa Tueller. There she is hiding in the big crowd. Did you bring all of Pepper Ridge here today? They do. Well done.
Awesome. All right. Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Bubb. I'm honored to have the opportunity to share the amazing things that are happening at Pepper Ridge Elementary. Pepper Ridge Elementary is home to an amazing school community built on 3 pillars. We have dedicated staff who are relentless in their pursuit of excellent instruction. We have families who actively support student learning, and we have students who love nothing more than being a bear. Students who embody our school identity with pride. Get to my slide. At Pepperidge, we live by the Pepperidge way. Our learners are responsible, respectful, and safe. These values are embedded in everything we do and in every place in our building. And the data proves our bears are living up to those expectations. Last year, 91% of our kindergartners, 86% of second graders, and 83% of third graders were proficient in reading. Not only are our bears readers, but they are also excellent mathematicians. Our students showed remarkable growth in math as measured by the 2025 iReady math diagnostic. Our second graders went from 18% at or above grade level to 80%, a 62% percentage point gain in 1 year from fall to spring. Our fourth graders grew from 37% to 71% proficient, and our fifth graders grew from 36% to 78% proficient fall to spring. We also listened to our students. Recently, our third through fifth graders indicated that they did not think students were being kind to one another. Our Positive Behavior Supports Committee responded immediately with a kindness campaign for February. We kicked off with an assembly teaching the value of respect and how kindness spreads. Throughout the month, students earned kindness links for our school kindness chain, and teachers made intentional touch points focusing on treating others with kindness. Not only are our teachers building good citizens, but they're providing cutting-edge instruction. Our fourth and fifth grade teams were recently recognized by Dr. Michael McDowell for leading explicit math instruction after he and Rhonda McDonough, our chief academic officer, visited classrooms. They've revamped how they teach mathematics and have become leaders in our building, sharing their expertise with the rest of our staff. Explicit math instruction in grades 3 through 5 have taken off, and we've seen increased student engagement and achievement across the board. But here's what really makes Pepperidge special. It's about belonging. If you showed up at our building tomorrow, you'd be an honorary bear for the day. Being a bear is how we build community here. Recently, a realtor was trying to sell a home to one of our families outside of our boundaries. Our student was very clear with his parents. I can't move and leave our school because I'm a bear. That's what makes Pepperidge special. We all feel a sense of belonging. At Pepperidge, we don't just serve students, we inspire them. We don't just teach, we transform. And we do it together. Thank you for the support and for giving me the opportunity to highlight the amazing things happening in our school. We're honored to be Pepperidge, and I'm honored to lead our bears.
Thank you so much. We want to take a picture with you, but I also want to tell you, so I try to follow all the schools and as many PTAs and clubs and organizations as I can find, and I caught you reading the other day online. So I thought that was really fun. That was
Reading.
great, and I really liked your decorations on your mantle. They were lovely.
Thank you.
So if you want to come up, we'll take a picture
Yes.
with you.
Dave, will you step in just a hair? Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Pepperidge parents, for being here. This was not planned, but we're going to go from Bears to Grizzlies, and we'll hear a little bit from Rocky Mountain High School.
The mic's on, right? All right, here we go. Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Bubb, trustees. My name's Scott Connors, and I'm the principal at Rocky Mountain High School. Very fortunate to be here tonight, and we're about 3/4 of the way through my first stint as principal, and I can't tell you how fortunate I am to be part of such a great institution and wonderful kids. So super excited to be here and help represent. Here it is. Oh, I double clicked it, sorry. Really quickly, just wanted to give you a few data points to talk about some things that we're very proud of. So last year at Rocky Mountain, their acknowledgement to referral ratio was 4-to-1. This year, when I came in, we reset our whole PBS system, so we actually kind of changed the entire thing. And one of the things we've done is we've increased that ratio from 7.04 to 1 from the 4-to-1 there was originally. We implemented a postcard system where our teachers are sending out postcards, handwritten postcard notes to their parents and their students, recognizing them for the great work that they're doing in their classrooms. And that goes anywhere from just like, hey, shout out, you crushed it on this test, to things such as like, hey, I caught you doing good in the hallway, all of those different things, and thanks for helping out in that. So that's something that we're really proud of. So referral-wise, or postcards specifically, we've sent out over 1,000 postcards this school year, and right there we got a stack of roughly 400 postcards that are going out this week. So we're really excited about that and the work that we're doing there. And then another thing we wanted to talk about was the fact that ADA keeps going up year after year. Our kids want to be at school. They enjoy what we're doing at school, and they continue to show us that day in and day out. So our hallways are busy, and we love the fact that we're getting kids to school on a regular basis. So that in turn, I put that I'm continued to be impressed by the time, care, and commitment our staff brings to work as they consistently raise expectations of students. Our students, in turn, rise to that challenge, not only through their success in athletics and activities, but also academically. Right here, we had our very first academic celebration breakfast that we had last month, and we had over 900 students that had a 3.5 GPA or higher that we invited to breakfast. And we served pancakes, sausage, milk, and water to all those students. So it was a great opportunity to get together and kind of celebrate all those students and the hard work they do. I'm especially looking forward to the growth that I expect to see in our ISAT scores this spring. We've been prepping our students. We have a plan for both math and ELA ISATs, where we've been prepping our junior class through bell ringers, trying to get them ready for those tests and making sure that we're focused. We've looked at SICA data. They did interim assessment blocks earlier this year, and we're looking at that information and looking for ways to improve our scores here this spring. So we're really looking forward to see those results pay off in the end. With that, I'll introduce you to Karsten Clyde and Charlie, our co-ASB presidents.
Good evening, Madam Chair Frazier, Dr. Bub, and trustees. My name is Charlie Russell,
My name is Karsten Clyde.
and we are honored to be here tonight representing Rocky Mountain High School and Grizz Nation. It's a privilege to share just a small glimpse of the incredible things happening around Rocky.
This year has been packed with growth, achievement, and a lot of school pride. I want to start by recognizing some of the people who make Rocky what it is. First, our Employee of the Year. Teacher of the Year, Alicia Osterhout, and Classified Employee of the Year, Quinton Michael. They represent the standard our staff sets every single day. We also continue to recognize Students of the Month, who consistently meet the Rocky standard in character, academics, and leadership. That culture of accountability and pride is something we do not take lightly at Rocky. In athletics and activities, Rocky continues to compete at the highest level. To start off, we had 2 athletes win Gatorade Player of the Year. It's the highest honor for athletes to win. Our Diamond Dancers placed 4th overall at state. Debate placed 3rd at districts. Both our girls and boys basketball advanced to districts. Hockey won state again. Wrestling had 5 top 3 placers at state. Our yearbook staff earned recognition as Pacemaker finalists. It is the highest, one of the top honors in the nation. Just Serve won the grand prize for the MLK Service Challenge. Our our drama program performed their Chaplin musical, showcasing incredible talent and dedication, and cheer made it to state.
Beyond accomplishments, one of our biggest focuses in student council and in leadership is building a strong culture within the school, making sure Rocky is a place where students feel connected, supported, and proud to be a Grizzly. We have several major events coming up that help bring our school community together. Freshman orientation on March 10th will welcome the class of 2029 and help set the tone for their high school experience right from the start. On March 27th, we'll host our spring assembly with the theme Surfers vs. Bikers, which always brings a lot of energy and school spirit. Later that evening, we'll also hold Buff Puff, our boys volleyball tournament, which has become one of the most fun and well-attended events of the year. Our prom theme is Forever on Film and will take place on April 11th, followed by one of Rocky's favorite traditions, Paint Wars, on May 6th. We'll then celebrate our seniors with Grad Night on May 19th, recognizing the class that has helped shape Rocky over the past 4 years. We are also continuing preparation for something really meaningful, Rocky Mountain's first ever Every 15 Minutes program in 2027, which will focus on educating students about the real-life consequences of impaired and distracted driving. Leadership students are also very intentional about supporting our staff. Each month, we create small celebration baskets for every department as a way to say thank you and show appreciation for everything they do for us. And as graduation approaches, we decorate the halls for a senior send-off, recognizing the impact the graduating class has had on the school and celebrating their next chapter. Through our Sources of Strength program, we've also focused on Kindness Week and promoting healthy habits, making sure students feel supported not only academically, but also personally and emotionally as well.
By the way, our prom theme that was just dropped here, no one else knows that, so. Rocky Mountain is more than achievements and events. It's a culture built on high standards, service, and pride, and representing something bigger than ourselves. As a senior and ASB co-president, I can say that students feel that responsibility. Whether it's in the classroom, on the field, on the stage, or in the community, it is huge. Thank you again for the opportunity to share what's happening at Rocky Mountain High School. We're proud of what we have accomplished and what we are going to accomplish. Go Grizz.
That was fantastic. Can we invite everybody from Rocky to come up and we'll take a picture with you?
Can I just add before you guys leave? So that every 15 minutes actually started with an email from Charlie, right? I didn't know if it was you or Karsten, but really started from students, and just an awesome program. If anybody knows anything about every 15 minutes, you have my word. We're in a public meeting. We will have it going by 2027. So we really tried to get that done this year. Unfortunately, with all the different moving parts, we weren't able to do that, but thank you guys for bringing that forward for our kids. Next up, I'd love to bring up Will Shoemaker and to talk a little bit about our CTE programs.
All right, good evening. I am thrilled to be here tonight. I'm Will Shoemaker. I'm Director of Career Technical Education. And anytime I get to talk about college and career readiness and career technical education, it just is exciting. And it's exciting to see what we're doing in West Ada with CTE. So we're going to dig right in. And I want to always start with a little bit about what is CTE. And some of what I hope to accomplish in this presentation tonight is a little bit about what we do in West Ada, what's going on in Idaho, and what's going on nationwide. And I think you'll see the impact that CTE in West Ada is having. So we have over 26 career pathways that are offered throughout our high schools in CTE. And CTE actually starts at the middle school and flows all the way up through high school. We also have 3 career technical centers where our students flow from across our district to take specialized courses, including capstone courses. We are excited that we also get to bring on a new career technical center. Thank you to the support of our board and our trustees. And the Locust Grove campus is well underway. To those of you that have had a chance to come see it, it's an opportunity to create new career pathways and more spaces to relocate existing pathways. So a little bit about what's going on nationwide in CTE. And I think this is kind of interesting because it really speaks to what we're really trying to accomplish with CTE in West Ada, but also nationwide. And so there's an interesting article from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the College Board, and they surveyed hiring managers from across the nation. So this is not West Ada specifically. And 4 out of 5 hiring managers, about 84%, would say that most high school students are not prepared to enter the workforce. And when you dig a little bit deeper into that and you ask why they are not prepared to enter the workforce, the answer from hiring managers is that they aren't receiving real world experiences to be able to have that preparation. So internships, apprenticeships, externships, workforce readiness experiences. And so what we try to accomplish in West Ada is that through our career technical pathways, students are receiving real world work experience that have transferable skills across different pathways. So in West Ada, and the blue bubble off to the side there, 93% graduation rate for students taking a CTE course. That's nationwide. So that if you take a CTE course and you're on track to graduate, 93% of those students will graduate. In Idaho, it's 90%, and in West Ada, 98% of students that take a CTE capstone course will graduate from West Ada schools. And so we're proud to see the impact that our pathways have on student success and being able to walk out of high school into careers beyond. So a little bit about West Ada. Let's dig into the data for what we're doing here. So right now we have over 1,100 students that are in a capstone course. That's usually juniors and seniors. They're getting ready to complete the pathway. They have taken probably 3 to 4 classes prior to this, and they're on track to finish that pathway of courses. We last year handed out 957 CTE diplomas. For a student to get the CTE diploma, they had to pass the workforce readiness exam. So we actually test them and say, are you workforce ready? They have to pass that. They have to pass a technical skills assessment. They have to be on track to graduate, and they have to earn their skills stack badges. So 957 students last year received the workforce readiness and CTE diploma. We are on track to be at about 1,000 plus to receive the diploma this spring is our goal. We have 92 high school CTE teachers across our district and 99 middle school CTE teachers. Post-high school readiness, 29 industry-aligned certificate options. So that means that the student will, through our pathway, receive a aligned certificate that they can take out into the workforce or into industry or on to post-secondary education. 34 concurrent credit college course options. 92 active industry partners. So one of the biggest portions of things that we try to do in CTE and West Ada is we make sure that we are partnering with our industry partners to make sure that we're on track to meet the needs of a changing workforce. 238 seniors are enrolled in an on-site industry externship right now, so they're in workforce readiness. And 1,058 have completed the workforce readiness the assessment and passed it this spring. And then we generate over about $3.5 million in funding each year because of our CTE pathways that goes, and that's able to go back into our students to be able to fund projects, to be able to fund learning materials and equipment that are needed to run those programs. So ahead of time, there was a couple, and this is hard to see, so I put a copy in front of you. There's a physical copy. One of the things, the bodies of work that we did this year is we took some data from workforce development in our valley, and we looked at what are the potential career pathways for students. So we took all of our pathways, and so we also have a career pathway guide. And so this booklet outlines all of our career pathways and also other information about CTE, so you can look at that when you have a chance. But this other document about certified nursing assistant, this really paints a picture of as our students work through a career pathway in West Ada and a CTE pathway, the on-ramps and off-ramps that student can have after, and the opportunities they can have after they leave high school. So if a student completes our certified nursing assistant pathway, they're a certified nursing assistant, they can go be hired by one of our industry partners, St. Luke's, St. Al's, a life care center. They can anticipate starting right out of high school at about $30,000 a year, and that's based off of workforce readiness data. That number goes up quickly as students tack on other skills. So if they learn how to draw blood, if they decide that they're going to go back to college and become a registered nurse, you can see the off-ramps and the future opportunities that the students are set up with there as they approach a career after high school. So students can work through, and at the end, and it's not necessarily the end, this is just one pathway that the student can be on as they leave West Ada schools. So this video, before you play it, speaks really to what we do in West Ada and CTE. And this is this is actually our CNA facility, but you're going to see some students that are really working through what does CTE do in West Ada. So we can listen to that now.
Planning for your future can feel really overwhelming. How are you supposed to decide without any real-life, hands-on experience? CTE pathways allow you to explore what actually interests you. You get to choose from all kinds of career pathways, including welding, firefighting, culinary arts, and even video production. So what path do you want to take? This is your time to explore.
The Career Technical Education Program provides hands-on learning opportunities for students in over 25 different career paths. Many pathways lead to industry certifications, college credits, or externships. Most programs are offered at little to no cost, and transportation is provided for traveling students to attend a class at a career technical center. With the West Ada CTE program, there are so many possibilities. CTE, preparing tomorrow's workforce today.
That might have been the last slide there. So one of the things that we're excited about as we continue to highlight CTE, oh, there's the last slide. But before we get to that, and I would be happy to stand for questions, one of the things that we've done this year, and we continue to do in West Ada CTE, is we have students in pathways that really have a lot to offer. And so we were struggling as a department with our social media. I'm not the best at Facebook and Instagram and all of the different social medias. And so we actually kind of stepped back and went, how could we approach this differently? And so we engaged with, and I'm going to bring up a teacher and a student. We reached out to one of our entrepreneurship marketing teachers and said, would you guys be interested in your class running our social media for CTE? And so they jumped at the opportunity. We actually met with them. It was like I was a client and they were working as an agency. They went through what I was hoping my goals were, the whole thing. And so this year, Eagle High School, through Mr. Austin Rogerson and Ryan Cohen, they have been managing our social media, and they've been doing a fantastic job. So if you follow our page, you'll see them drop little videos explaining some of the stuff that we're doing and things that we're doing through CTE throughout the year. So I'd like to bring up Mr. Rogerson and Mr. Cohen to talk a little bit about the partnership and then what CTE has done for both them as a teacher and as Ryan as a student.
First off, let me say thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all tonight. And Will is really so much to thank because of the opportunity that he's truly blessed us with. A couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted to change the whole dynamic of how I taught my marketing class. It was very textbook, it was very vocabulary, and I know that's all very, very important, but I'm a project-based kind of guy. And someone who comes from a marketing field, someone who's worked in advertising agencies for most of my life prior to teaching, I thought, guys, is there any way we can change how this class operates? And the last couple of years, we've changed the dynamic and taken on in-house clients. So at Eagle High School, the sports and entertainment marketing class, we now manage every single sport at our school and their Instagram pages. From baseball to football to golf to tennis, you name it, my kids run it and they do a dang good job. It's really impressive what they are able to do. And each and every day, they blow us away. So how this came about is that Will saw all the work that we've been doing through the marketing class and says, hey, I see what you guys are putting out there. Would you mind doing something similar for us on the CTE front? So as he said, we jumped at the opportunity to figure out who's their audience, who are they trying to reach, current students, future students, parents, the whole audience, and to say the very least, the expectations have been exceeded because of these students' creativity. So I want to give Ryan the opportunity to speak because he really spearheaded it in the fall, which has transitioned until to where we are today, and created a dynamic and a template and a framework for how we can promote our CT classes going forward.
Thank you for that introduction. So in the fall, I took over the CTE page alongside Mr. Rogerson and some of my classmates to try to see how we can highlight the program and the way it's affecting students and teachers in the district. And we started off very simple, like when you think of like trades in CTE, you kind of think of like welding and automotive tech, so that's what we kind of started off with. But then we started branching off and doing like photography CTE classes, broadcasting. And I think as it's grown, me as a student, I never was going to go into the trades. I was kind of more of the business-oriented person. But I've learned a lot personally about all these different pathways, and it's really been an eye-opening experience, I would say. Other than that, starting this spring semester, we've actually been able to branch out and allow other students to have a stab at what we've been doing with the CTE page. And they're beginning to branch out even further and do some individual student highlights into some of these students who have been doing great work in their respective classes. So, yeah, that's how it's been going so far.
Yeah. So that's just one way that we make sure we prepare tomorrow's workforce today. And I think it's pretty obvious that we have students that are engaging. They're engaging in real world experiences, and that's just one example. But all of our pathways have some way that we're engaging with industry, we're engaging with partners. Students are really applying what they're learning in their classes in a way that they're going to be able to take those skills and transfer them after high school. So at this point, I'd be happy to stand for any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. Any comments or questions? Trustee Benetti.
So that video was extremely well put together. High production quality. Is that an example of what you've been doing in-house?
That one is not. We did actually engage with one of our industry partners, 116th and West. They work with some of our other programs, and so they were eager to help us highlight some of our programs. But they worked very closely with us, and they collaborated on that product. But that's a professional, very professional. But the ones that are highlighted on our page are done by students. I would say the quality is right up there.
Other comments or questions? I've seen them that are done on the page. They're fantastic. We could all, I think, comment on CTE for a couple hours if you gave it to us. Thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you so much for teaching. Thank you for being here tonight. We definitely want to get a picture with you too. We just like running up and down. I get my steps. So if you can come on up, we'd love to get that.
Okay, we have a lot of familiar faces in the audience. I'm sure they are waiting to hear the next couple announcements, and so we'll introduce Renee Sinander to talk a little bit about the new principal for Independence Elementary.
Wonderful. Well, good evening, Chair Frazier, trustees, Superintendent Dr. Bubb. The opening of a new school is an exciting opportunity to build something meaningful from the ground up. This fall, West Ada will open Independence Elementary School in Star. We have members of Star Elementary here with us this evening. Thank you for being here. Star has been bursting at the seams, and I'm sure everyone is grateful for the relief that's to come. I want to say thank you to Principal Todd Adams for his steady leadership through what has undoubtedly been a busy year for your school community. One critical piece of launching a new school is selecting the right principal to lead the work from day one. The principal sets the tone, establishes strong systems, builds relationships with staff and families, and creates a culture that will help the school thrive for years to come. I'm honored this evening to introduce Mr. Jeff Christofferson as the recommended candidate for principal of Independence Elementary School. Mr. Christofferson brings more than 12 years of experience in education and joined West Ada School District in 2021. For the past 3 years, he has served as the principal of Hunter Elementary School, where he successfully led the school through not one, but 2 boundary changes. Throughout that time, he built strong relationships with staff, students, and families while maintaining its steady and thoughtful leadership presence. What stood out through the selection process was Mr. Christofferson's commitment to building strong systems, supporting teachers, and creating a positive and collaborative school culture. We're confident that he will bring the leadership needed to successfully launch Independence Elementary and establish a strong foundation for the school and its community. We look forward to seeing the positive impact of his leadership at Independence Elementary. And Mr. Christofferson does have a few words for you this evening and is ready to address any questions you may have. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Chairwoman Frazier, trustees, Dr. Bubb. This is an exciting time for West Ada and an exciting time for the city of Star. I'm incredibly honored for the opportunity to serve as the principal at Independence Elementary. The chance to open up a brand new school is something I am deeply grateful for. I'm humbled by the trust that you all place in me, and so excited to help lead that work. At the same time, the moment's a little bit bittersweet. I got to be completely honest with you. For the past 3 years, I've had the privilege of serving the students, families, and staff at Hunter Elementary, and it has been the joy of my life. Hunter is a special place. I wasn't here that long ago talking about how special it is. The teachers and staff care deeply about kids, about each other. The community surrounding the school has been incredibly supportive. They've welcomed me with open arms. And it's truly been an honor to lead alongside the Hunter team. Leaving that community is not a decision that comes lightly. One of the things that I value most about this work is the relationships that make great schools flourish. The best parts of my job have always been the people, the conversations in the hallway, the partnerships with families, and the chances to support teachers doing the work that they are incredibly passionate about, which is helping kids succeed and grow. Schools are about people first. That's something I believe in strongly. And I believe when we build strong connections and trust one another, great things happen for all students. As we begin the work of opening Independence Elementary, my hope is to create a school where the same relationships are at the center of everything that we do. A place where students feel known and valued, where staff feel supported and proud of their work, and where families feel welcomed as true partners in the life of the school. It's a rare and exciting opportunity to help build a school community from the ground up. I look forward to working alongside our future staff, students, families, and to establish traditions, to create a strong culture and build something that the entire Star community can be proud of, a community that I am proud to be a resident of. So thank you again for your trust. Thank you again for this opportunity. I'm so excited for the work ahead and grateful to be part of helping bring Independence Elementary to life. So thank you all so much, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
And Jeff will be signing autographs in the hall when this is over. We're excited to have you. This will be great. Hunter's in my backyard, and I've enjoyed the last 3 years of listening to neighbors and friends and the great experiences they've had. My kids have grown, but it was a wonderful place for them to go, and you've done great things there, and we're excited to see what you'll do at Independence. Let's get a picture.
Does the family get to come up for this one? Yeah. All right.
All right. Good evening, Chair Frazier, trustees, Superintendent Dr. Bubb. The Hillsdale Elementary School presence here tonight is incredible. Thank you for being here to support this principal recommendation. It's so great to see so many herons in the room this evening. Hillsdale's current principal, Dr. Christy Bear, will be embarking on a new adventure at the end of the school year, a well-deserved retirement. With more than 30 years of dedicated service to West Ada School District, Dr. Bear served as the founding principal of Hillsdale Elementary, shaping the school's culture, traditions, and community from its first day. We're deeply grateful for her decades of leadership and the lasting impact she's made on our community, and wish her the best as she begins this exciting next chapter of life. So thank you. I'm honored to introduce Mrs. Justine Burgess as the recommended candidate for principal of Hillsdale Elementary School. Ms. Burgess joined West Ada in July 2024 with a strong foundation in teaching and school leadership. As the current principal of Joplin Elementary School, she leads her team with vision, passion, and a commitment to excellence. She's dedicated to student success, ensuring every decision and initiative is focused on supporting the growth and achievement of her students. We're confident that her leadership will have a meaningful impact on Hillsdale Elementary School. She would like to share a few words with you this evening and is happy to address any questions you may have.
Chair Frazier, Vice Chair Ozuna, Trustees Benetti, Brown, and McCullough, and the executive team. I am honored to be here as I hopefully accept the opportunity to serve as the principal of Hillsdale Elementary. I want to extend my sincere appreciation where 2 years ago I was welcomed into the West Ada family. During that time, I've had the privilege of learning the district's strong instructional focus and the dedicated people who make this organization so impactful for our students and our community. Serving alongside the Joplin Elementary community has been an incredible experience. Just like Jeff, it's been a bittersweet moment and experience to think about leaving that community, because the relationships built there have shaped my growth as a leader and reinforced my belief in the power of strong school communities. And because of that, I wished and hoped to become the Hillsdale leader after Dr. Blair. Sorry, I don't know if you're Principal Blair. I look forward to joining the community. I know it's close, I know it's supportive, and I know it's involved. And I hope to learn its history and becoming part of the school's continued journey. I'm excited to partner with the staff that are here, the students and the families, to celebrate the strengths and where they've come from, and how we can grow together in the community. So I thank you for your trust and your opportunity. On a personal note though, when I'm not being an educator, I'm chasing 3 kids around who also attend schools in the West Ada School District. Being a parent reminds me every day why this work matters and why I continue to find passion and joy in it. It gives me the perspective and motivation to care deeply for the students, families, and the staff of the school communities that I serve. Thank you again for your support, and I'm here for any questions.
Any comments or questions? Well, thank you so much. What you've done at Joplin has been amazing, and we're excited. We're always sad to lose one, but retirement's a pretty good way to go, right? Maybe we're jealous a little bit. But excited to have you go there. I know you'll do great things. It's a beautiful school. It's a great community, as obvious by the turnout today. And yeah, just want to compliment you again on your suit. It's
you.
a private joke, sorry, everybody. And let's take a quick picture. For those wondering, Justine and I have the same taste in suits. That was the joke. All right, tonight we don't have anyone signed up for patron input, but just as a reminder, it's always limited to 2 minutes. It always needs to stay to those high-level policies, procedures, never to individual staff or students. She's just going to sign autographs here. And yeah, keep it to things that are agenda-related for patron input. All right, that moves us to consent agenda. I'm open to a motion. Trustee Benetti.
I move that we accept the consent agenda unanimously.
Is there a second? Trustee McCullough?
I second it.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. With that, we will move to new business, policy 515.10, attendance, which will be presented by Marcus Myers.
Yeah. All right. Well, good evening, Madam Chair, trustees, and Superintendent Dr. Bob. I look forward to discussing policy 515-10. You know, I'm excited about attendance. This is great. I don't know that I'll get autographs or hugs or fanfare on the way out, but that's going to be my goal. All right. Policy 515-10, attendance, and its accompanying administrative regulation with you this evening. For the purpose of this discussion, I'm going to focus primarily on the administrative regulation, knowing that the tenets of the policy are followed up in that. Trustees, it's no secret that students perform best when they're present and engaged in our classrooms. At the same time, it's important that we rethink together how we track and report attendance. Attendance reporting is not only about monitoring student engagement, it also directly affects how we report instructional time to the state and recover average daily attendance, or ADA, funding that supports our schools. Because of that, this updated policy and regulation is designed to do two important things. First, it ensures that our district is reporting attendance to the state in the most accurate way possible. By doing this, it allows us to maximize the ADA funding that supports our classrooms, teachers, and important programs like the ones you saw this evening. Second, it creates a much clearer and more transparent system for parents, guardians, and our incredible attendance staff at the schools. Families will better understand how absences are recorded, and school staff will have a consistent framework that's applied the same way across all of our schools. Knowing this, though, we know that perfect attendance isn't always possible. Students are human. They become ill, families travel, appointments occur, and life occasionally presents unexpected situations. Because of this, the updated regulation is also designed to provide clear expectations for families on how to navigate this, create a fair and transparent way to record those absences, allow schools to respond early when attendance becomes a concern, since minimum attendance requirements are required to obtain academic credit towards graduation, regardless of the reason, and we want to make sure that students are with us in classrooms as much as possible. And it allows us to ensure our attendance reporting aligns with Idaho state funding and those instructional requirements. Likewise, the updated regulation clearly defines terms such as truancy so that parents and schools can communicate and support quicker, earlier, and more effectively. This system is more efficient for school staff, helping ensure attendance is recorded consistently and accurately across the entire district. Ultimately, the goal is simple: support student learning, maintain transparency for families, and ensure responsible stewardship of our funding. We recognize that absence reporting could sometimes feel confusing for families and appear inconsistent among schools. This new framework simplifies attendance reporting by focusing on 2 simple questions whenever a student has to miss that school. The first question: did the school receive advance notice of the absence? Were we informed ahead of time? And was documentation provided to support that absence? These 2 factors allow us to clearly categorize absences and respond appropriately. Advance notice simply means the school is notified students would be absent for the day or period of class before the absence actually occurs. I'm going to go through some of those examples of what a advance notice might be. This could be being informed that families are taking a quick vacation, scheduled medical and dental appointments that occur, club sport events that take place, one in which I'll talk about here momentarily in my personal example, religious observations, familial obligations, all the things that come up as a matter of life that our parents and students navigate. Supporting documentation simply means the school is notified the students would be absent the day or period of class. Supporting documentation means the school received acceptable documents to support that absence. And that's sometimes what we typically see are completion of an extended learning opportunity. Now I'm going to get into further about that. But usually like a doctor or a dental appointment note, some court documentation sometimes, maybe notification of bereavement, and then other documentation that parents happily give to us to support that absence. To make attendance clearer and easier to understand, the regulation introduces a 4-code system. These are based on those 2 key questions: advance notice and supporting documentation. These 4 codes will be used across the district. The first one is extended learning opportunity, ELO. I'll refer to that. This occurs when advance notice is provided and the student completes an approved learning assignment during that absence. I'm going to discuss ELO in more depth here in just a moment, but when an ELO is completed successfully, the absence doesn't count against attendance thresholds, and it doesn't count as a truancy. This option provides flexibility for our families while also ensuring that learning continues during planned absences. PRC, which stands for Parent Communication, that's the code that we enter into our systems. This occurs when a parent notifies the school in advance, but then no additional documentation is provided. These absences do count toward attendance totals, but aren't considered truancy because the school and family communicated in advance, or at least informed us of the absence taking place. WAI, which stands for waived absence. This occurs when advance notice was not possible, but documentation is provided after the absences. This is pretty common. These are like illnesses supported by a doctor's note that it comes later. These absences do not count against attendance expectations, but they do count as truancy, okay? They do not count as truancy and do not count against attendance expectations. Glad I caught that. Absent, that's just the A, okay? This code is used when no advance notice and no supporting documents are provided. In that situation, we just don't know. And so students are marked absent. These ones, now this is accurate, count toward attendance thresholds and may be considered truancy if no further information is received by school staff from a parent, guardian, or a student. And again, the goal is simply accurate reporting and communication so that we can respond together. Now, you know, not only am I a chief academic officer at West Ada, but I'm a parent. As a parent, this visual on this page makes what to report and the support documentation easier. It also helps me think through what next steps might be given the 2 questions of advance notice and supports. So I'm going to walk through this, going through each corner. So if as a parent, I provide notice but without support, that's PRC, parent communication. I inform the school, but I don't have any additional documentation. I'm just simply calling in an illness or that my child has an appointment, okay? And that happens. I've done that before. Notice and support. What that looks like is I provide advance notice of my child's absence, and in addition to that, I'm going to provide additional support documentation through an ELO. And again, I'm going to get into that here just momentarily. It could look like I don't provide advance notice or I provide no notice, and I don't have any support at all. That basically means the school is not aware of the absence, we're not sure what's going on or how to be able to provide that support. That student's marked absence. Now, we work really hard to find out, though, why that student's absent, because we want to make sure that they're safe. But that's how it would be coded. No advance notice, and then with support documentation is a waiver. What that means is, my child was not feeling well. Rather than call the school or I had something else going on, I took him to the doctor's appointment. At the doctor's appointment, I got a note from the doctor about what's going on. I bring it back to the school and I inform them after the fact, you know, the boy wasn't feeling so hot. I took him to the doctor. Here's the doctor's note. That's marked WAI or waiver. So let's talk about that one in the top right-hand corner, extended learning opportunity. So one of the most important parts of this regulation is the extended learning opportunity process, or ELO. This option allows students with planned absences to be recorded as a supported absence and not subject to attendance expectations for credit. Now, I'm going to get into that in detail. I mentioned before, I'm a parent. So the way this would work is, and let's use an example of a club sport. I know ahead of time, Xander, who's, yes, that's the boy, I know he's got a bowling tournament coming up. It's a club sport, and we're traveling to Burley. I found out a week ago he qualified for the tournament, and so I contact the school and I say, hey, school, Xander's going to be out next Thursday and Friday for a bowling tournament in Burley. By doing that ahead of time, I provided advance notice. Now the school is going to come back to me and say, okay, would you like the opportunity for him to complete an ELO, an extended learning opportunity? I say, well, yes, I would love the opportunity to get an ELO, and I'm going to talk about why that's important to me as a parent. And so the ELO teacher, whom, if the policy is approved by the trustees, will be hired on our online teaching team, is going to provide a learning assignment aligned with instructional standards. What that means is that I'm going to get notice as a parent, Xander is going to get notice of an assignment that he's going to complete that is then going to move that ELO into it's going to move my PRC into an LOO. So I made parent contact, and then it moves into an ELO. If Xander completes the assignment within 10 school days after returning, that absent will then be changed into an ELO. Now, just because Xander completed the ELO assignment doesn't mean he doesn't have to complete all the classwork that he just missed. He has to complete that classwork too. But the quick online assignment that'll be very reflective of his standards that he's learning, be very reflective of that, gives me the opportunity then for that absence to be recorded differently in terms of his progress toward earning credit. He still has to do the work that's being taken care of in class. I still have to meet those attendance thresholds because it's important for Xander to be at school, but it does allow me to work with him, to work with the school, to not only teach him some opportunities to be responsible for what that looks like in terms of making up the assignments, but then also to show that I can provide an opportunity in terms of him continuing to earn credit for a course because he can't miss too many days, and that ELO allows that to happen. It's also incredibly important to note that I have to make that request for ELO in advance, and that is something we're going to have to communicate very carefully to make sure that everybody understands that that's advance notice. Now, advance in my situation, I knew a week ahead of time. I knew that was the case, but if I had called the morning of before school started, that would have been enough advance notice. Okay? The next slide, and I'm not going to go cell by cell on this, I'm just going to provide a summary of what those attendance thresholds are. But really, state law also requires schools to monitor attendance thresholds that may affect student promotion, high school credit, for example, in the one Xander there, and then enrollment status. These thresholds vary slightly depending on the grade level and educational program. So for example, at the elementary level, students generally remain in good standing with 5 or fewer absences per semester. That good standing level is something I would be able to work toward with ELO. At the secondary level, attendance is measured by class periods missed because each class represents a portion of the instructional hours required for credit for that class. When attendance exceeds certain thresholds, schools begin a structured response. Here is that structured response. First step is always intervention and support. We want to provide support. Students have not been able to attend during that time frame, they're missing some learning opportunities, or the reason for their absence, we want to be able to provide some support around that. When a student begins approaching an attendance threshold, the school will arrange a meeting with the student and family to discuss the importance of attendance, potential barriers that might be preventing that attendance. That's what we want to know so we can provide additional support if need be. Support structures that may help improve attendance and the possible consequences of absence continues. That's a lot of where that future conversation around utilizing ELO as an opportunity. The goal is always to partner with families to help students stay engaged and attend in school. In situations where attendance concerns continue, additional steps might occur. Now, on these additional steps, I'm also going to have a caveat to each one of these. Possible retention. If a student misses so much instruction they cannot demonstrate mastery of grade level material, retention may, and I'm using the word may purposefully, be considered. In these cases, schools will work closely with families to review progress, establish expectations, and monitor improvement. But our goal in West Ada is always to promote students whenever possible. But attendance also has to support that student learning. It's a critical decision and one we won't make lightly, and so frequent preventative communication, frequent preventative planning, and all else takes place, the possibility of retaining. Possible credit loss. At the high school level, Idaho statute requires a certain number of instructional hours. There we go. A certain number of instructional hours in order for a student to earn credit. If absences exceed those thresholds, credit loss may occur. Before that happens, one, we need to make sure that we review attendance status again, create a plan to improve that attendance. Assign staff support. It might be that that student needs additional support, not only just to attend, but then to make up the work that they missed, and to create other learning opportunities for that missed work. And then explore alternative learning options if needed. We have got a lot of resources, a lot of safety nets in West Ada, and if attendance is a struggle, we can definitely provide those safety nets. The goal, again, is always for every student to earn credit and graduate successfully, and attendance is a big part of that as well. Disenrollment only occurs in rare cases when a student has been absent for an extended period without communication from a parent or guardian, and the school can't confirm the student's educational placement. That's not necessarily placement in a West Ada school, but it might be placement. We don't know where they're at, and we want to make sure that they're in a school continuing to learn and continue to advance. But before disenrollment ever occurs, schools will provide formal notice to families. We'll review the student status with district administration. We'll follow district procedures for withdrawal or alternative placement. This ensures that all students remain connected to an educational program in or outside of West Ada. There are some additional attendance codes that are less common, but still I want to make sure that we have a quick discussion around those. One attendance code is ALT. That's an educational facilities that support an individual student need. When it says alternative on there, I just want to clarify it's not necessarily an alternative education environment within West Ada. It's likely a different facility where students are receiving very specific help, but yet still receiving education while they're getting that help. School-sponsored activities, that's our activity code. And then suspensions, and out of those we do watch that carefully in attendance. It does have an impact. We want to be able to provide students not just from a behavioral support perspective, but from an attendance support perspective. These codes are managed by school administrators who do not count against attendance expectations. Additionally, the administrative regulation defines our tardy to absence threshold, where if a student misses more than 20% of the scheduled class period, they'll be marked absent. And there is also this same procedure for elementary school in terms of an AM and a PM session of elementary split between lunch. And again, we'll handle these situations using the same protocols as with other class period absences. Here are my final thoughts. Ultimately, this updated attendance regulation accomplishes several important goals. The first, it clarifies expectations for families so that we're all on the same page having conversations around student attendance and why it's important. It creates a consistent attendance system across all schools. That consistent attendance system includes a reporting mechanism. Trustees, I want to let you know that we are in the process of developing a more thorough, easier, and more responsive communication tool using technology tools for parents to be able to report quickly to us and to do so efficiently and easily, and then replying back the options that's spelled out should the administrative regulation be approved by you and the policy, what options they have. Essentially, if I'm a parent and I'm reporting using those technology tools, the quadrant that you saw, I will be able to report absence similar to that quadrant and get information back and forth, okay? Aligns with Idaho State instructional and funding requirements. It's the end of the day, that's how we pay for the programs and the opportunities that we're able to provide students here in West Ada. Those are critically important. Attendance allows us to pay for those, and so it's important for us to be good stewards, not just of the public education funding that we receive, but to ensure that we recoup every possible dollar to keep great things happening at West Ada like you saw tonight. Through helping the district accurately recover ADA funding and supports early intervention when attendance becomes a concern. That's the other part of this. Through better communication structures, through a tighter, more simplistic protocol, we can respond earlier, we can respond more often, and provide early intervention supports before that concern takes place. With that, trustees, you have my greatest appreciation, as well as the policy committee who worked to build this first reading for you this evening, and I would always be happy to stand for any questions that you may have.
Any comments or questions? Trustee Brown?
Hi, Mr. Myers. I just wanted to ask, you brought up that you are creating technologies for parents to report absences. I was just thinking, when I report an absence, I'm calling a phone number and leaving a message, and I'm just like, when are they going to hear it? Is it something else, like clicking a button or submitting a form?
Absolutely, Madam Chair, Trustee Brown, that is exactly what we're looking at, the challenges associated with calling into a phone number, being able to do that, being able to share communication back and forth around that phone number or leaving a voicemail. We are looking at systems where you'll be able to, a parent or guardian will be able to make that reporting quickly and easy, like from a cell phone, okay? Through like what is a texting feature, and be able to receive information back and forth.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Trustee Benetti?
So is it the intention, if it's approved, that this would be in place by next school year?
Yeah, Madam Chair, Trustee Benetti, that is the intention, that if approved, it will be in place at the beginning of the 26-27 school year.
Follow-up? So, and if I understand correctly, the purpose of the ELO is to give another opportunity for students to be able to, when we say do not count against credit expectations, it means that they effectively don't have that absence, right? There's really no such thing as a quote-unquote excused absence, but just to the common thought, it would be an opportunity to excuse that absence by doing some extended learning over and beyond what their existing responsibilities are.
Absolutely, Madam Chair, Trustee Benetti, that is accurate.
And one more, if I may. And so I think there's also something that I read in the administrative regulation that there is a limit, like you couldn't do like 50 ELOs and effectively never go to class and have 0 absences, so that there still is a fundamental limit that required. I'm hoping that you could speak to that. But otherwise, it looks like if people are coming close to that threshold and need an opportunity to be able to give themselves a little bit of safety, or frankly, even just get ahead of the curve, that they will have that opportunity at all grade levels to complete an ELO and eventually avoid truancy and maintain credit. Is that correct?
That is, Madam Chair, Trustee Benetti, that is absolutely correct. Those attendance thresholds still exist, the expectations still exist. It isn't an unlimited number of ELO requests in terms of what that looks like. Right now, that number looks like 10 as we move forward, and we want to make sure that knowing that number, being really transparent on that number, we'll be able to work proactively with families. Similar to the situation, if I as a father with Xander am approaching 10, or I know he's going to have future absences, and I know he's doing great at bowling, he's going to be out at quite a few club sports, I want to plan and prepare for that. I can work directly with Xander, work directly with the school and with that ELO teacher to be able to recoup some of those absences so he can continue to earn credit, knowing that he's going to work just as hard on those absences to make up all of the classwork that he missed.
Trustee Benetti?
Sorry, okay, I promised the last one. It's not a question, but I want to speak to that as well, because I'm going to be going on a little bit of a trip with my daughter to do some college scoping out, and it's going to potentially impact her ability to be able to go to school. And so knowing that they would have that opportunity for that ELO to be able to get ahead of it, and then we could plan it and feel a little bit better, because there's always something that's sort of untoward about that. You always want your children to be in school. You always want them to do everything that they can, and they're going to make up the work no matter what. That's always going to be the case. But to give them that opportunity to be able to have that ELO, knowing that that's coming up, it makes her feel better. It makes me feel better. My wife feel better. So I really appreciate you thinking out of the box and providing this opportunity for us to consider. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Trustee Benetti, thank you. Any other comments? Trustee McCall?
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this. So
what I'm aware of right now is that if we have an expected absence for a club or vacation, we fill out a form, and my daughter takes it around to all of her teachers, has them sign the form. What is that being labeled as today?
Yeah, Madam Chair, Trustee McCullough, that is labeled an extended learning opportunity. The challenges associated with that process is, one, it's great that students take on the role and responsibility for going around and getting their assignments. Students have to do that anyway. What it does is it places some undue responsibility and burden on behalf of the teachers to generate those assignments, to put together the additional pieces. The additional staff member, the certified teacher we will have who will oversee the ELO process, will help design that additional assignment while at the same time creating a structured system where students go around and find out what they missed and what that looked like. So the form that you're referring to is an ELO opportunity now. That's going to shift a little bit in terms of it's this additional assignment that I'm going to receive that Xander would complete in my example. He'll still have the ability then to go into the school and gather the assignments and the work that he missed to recoup that learning.
I have a follow-up question. So if they were to fill that form in and turn it in before the vacation or the trip or whatever the absence is for, it's counted as an ELO, but if the child doesn't turn in the form until after the absences, then it is then a waiver, even though they filled out the form?
No, so they have 10 days after the fact. In ELO, it would switch to an ELO and not a waiver that way. The waiver is support documentation ahead of time, typically from, I didn't know ahead of time that my child was going to be out, and so that waiver would be like a doctor's note that way. That's the ELO component to that. If I know ahead of time and it's a reoccurring appointment on what that looks like, it continues to be waived, but it's a reoccurring appointment over time.
I feel like the absence thing is really hard at our house. We're always having the conversation of, does this absence count against you or not against you? So I appreciate you walking us through this. And also I appreciate that you're making this, well, it seems like the end goal is to make this easier for everyone, to work with the parents, to work with the student, because at the end of the day, we don't want them to miss school, we don't want them to miss assignments, but sometimes it's a little hard to make the phone calls and do all the planning ahead when you've got so many other things going on. So anyway, well done, appreciate it.
Absolutely. Madam Chair, Trustee, our goal is to simplify the process, make it more clear, thereby increasing attendance and the opportunity and to be able to provide the funding to support those programs. But life happens. Students are going to be absent, and in doing so, we want to make it as easy for students, parents, family, and our teachers who are providing that additional learning support. Thank you.
Vice Chair Zuna.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Myers, can we go to that, the grid that's set up for the absence codes? And
that one?
Yeah,
okay.
And just to help so that I'm not confused, can you walk through each one of these and kind of indicate whether it counts for as against an absence or if it's counted as a truancy for each one of these?
Yes, so I'm gonna look at both screens and in doing so.
Okay.
Okay, because I have my notes on this side. I took the cutouts, this is the AR itself, and then individual slides, I just pulled portions for ease of use, okay? All right, so let's take the first one. Let's take notice. When it says notice on the slide right here, it means advance notice, okay?
Okay.
So on notice at the top, let's start with ELO. So if I receive advance notice, support documentation for that, I have the option of converting that to an ELO through that additional assignment. An ELO does not count against attendance thresholds, okay? And it doesn't count as a truancy. We were aware of the student's absence, we found out ahead of time. Oh, next one. I receive advance notice, but without support documentation. So if I call in Xander the day before and I say, Xander's gonna be out tomorrow because he has a doctor's appointment. And Xander's got a doctor's appointment. When he returns to school the next day, if I don't provide additional support documentation for that, it's a PRC. PRC is just parent call-in. It's short for that. Parent called in, but there's no additional documentation, okay? Now, as a parent, I know that, right? Like I know that that one's probably gonna count against him, even though he was a doctor's appointment, those other things. I know it's gonna count against him, but in a simple system, I can start to plan for that with the ELO and the next absence. The one on the bottom left, no advance notice and no support. We don't receive documentation. We don't know where they're at.
Mr. Myers, can I interrupt you really fast then? So on PRC, it would count against attendance, but it would not be a truancy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is
You're
that
right.
correct?
Let me follow the pattern here. I'm gonna go back and look at my notes and
Sorry,
read it word
thank
for word.
you.
Nope, don't apologize. Okay, these absences in PRC do count toward attendance totals. So they do count toward attendance totals, but they're not considered truancy because we know ahead of time. I need to stick to my notes. Thank you for reminding me to do so. Okay, all right, let's go to waived absence, bottom right. On a waived absence, no prior notice, but I do provide support documentation. So that is, family emergency, I take Xander out of town for a family emergency. I come back and I provide documentation about this family emergency and where it occurred after town. By providing that, I didn't provide advance notice. I really wasn't at a point where I could be able to provide that, but I did provide some support documentation. It'll be marked waive. Waived do not count against attendance expectations in the vast majority of circumstances, okay? And do not count as truancy because we were informed. Okay? Which one did I skip? Did I get them all? A. Okay, so the A, that code's used when there's no advance notice and no supporting documentation. This is basically the school wasn't made aware of the child being absent. We did attendance, we checked attendance in the morning. Xander just wasn't at school that day. I didn't call, I didn't provide support documentation, I just figured you're gonna be absent, kid. He doesn't show up, his teacher notices that, marks a day. A's count toward attendance thresholds and could be considered truancy. What I mean by that is we're gonna watch it very carefully. If it continues to build up and no communication is provided about where Xander's whereabouts are, or maybe I don't know where Xander's whereabouts are at that particular time, it could build up as a truancy.
Dr. Bubb?
Madam Chair, trustees, I think this is actually one of the areas that it becomes really clear for our attendance folks. We have people in every one of our schools that do some amazing work with attendance, and them trying to figure out exactly where a kid's absent, what the reason is, all of that becomes really, really convoluted. From an attendance perspective, really they are just gonna they're looking at two boxes. They're looking at PRC, a parent called in, or a WAI. Generally speaking, the A is marked by teachers when a student doesn't show up to class. They're marking it as A, great. For the folks in the attendance office, they're looking at two things. Did I hear from a parent? Or does it qualify for a waive? Those are really the only two, because they're not even marking ELO. The ELO teacher in the virtual setting will really be looking at that. So they're looking at two boxes, PRC or WAI. Now, they will look at the A when a parent comes in and says, hey, my kid was absent first period yesterday, here's the doctor's note, then obviously that A moves over to a WAI. But for their purposes, they're really looking at, did I talk to a parent? Is this a PRC or is it a WAI? Which makes it really, really easy, a lot easier. I won't say it's easy because they still get about 200 phone calls a day at a high school. So, but it makes it a little bit easier.
Thank you, Dr. Bubb.
Thank you. Can I ask a follow-up? So when you take this then under the educational program attendance thresholds, which is kind of where we split things out by elementary, middle, and high school, and we kind of have some guidelines for good attendance or, you know, where there's some risk there. But we also say that anything more than 10, I think there's a note here that may result in credit loss. So in actuality, though, all four of those attendance codes count to the absences that are in this grid. Is that correct?
Madam Chair, trustees, that would be correct.
Okay. It doesn't matter
In a
how
total
they're
of 10.
coded
Now,
when you're looking
per semester.
at, okay.
Yeah, per semester. So at a high school level, like if we're talking about high school, where a lot of the activities and things like that, they can come in and play anywhere. But really at a high school, you're talking about a month of school per semester.
Right. And I'm not questioning the
Yeah.
time in here. I just want to make sure that it's really clear for parents. Kind of here's the guidelines and here's what counts where and what's truancy and what's not But in general, all of those codes really
For the-
impact the attendance requirements.
For the total threshold, and just to be clear, the reason that 10 is really 20 school days, because we're on the 8A BD schedule, just so, for anybody listening, that's why it would end up being, almost a month of school you could miss total if you had ELOs. We felt like that was a large amount of school to be missing.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions? All right, Mr. Myers, that was fantastic. I feel bad because we've taken pictures of everyone else and we're not going to take your picture. How do you feel about that? If I had my phone, I would actually, there we go, we got pictures. Very nice, thank you so much. All right, next on our agenda is executive session, and I'm open to a motion. Trustee Benetti.
Thank you. I move that we enter executive session per Idaho Code 74206 sub 1 sub B to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent or public school students.
Do I have a second? Trustee McCullough.
I'll second it.
Okay, this will be a roll call vote. So I'm going to start with you, Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Benetti.
Aye.
Trustee McCullough.
Aye.
Vice Chair Zuna.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. We will move into executive session at 7:22 p.m. We'll rejoin open session at 8:34 p.m. I'm open to a motion for executive session. Trustee Benetti.
I move that we place employee G on probation effective March 23rd, 2026 through May 15th, 2026, at which time the matter will be brought back to the board for further consideration.
Is there a second? Trustee McCullough?
I second it.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. With that, it takes us to good of the order. No one signed up for that this evening. And just like public comment, that's always 2 minutes, always kept to high levels, never to staff or students. And this can be to anything, really. So is there anyone on the board that has any comments? Trustee Benetti.
For the good of the order, I had the pleasure of attending the career fair at the College and Career Fair down at Mountain View earlier this week, or last week, I should say. And what an impressive event that is. It's one of my favorite events. I've been 3 years. I know we've been doing it 4, and I've asked around other districts, other places, and it doesn't look like anybody else does that. But to have that 100 vendors and everything from HVAC to Wahoos to the West Point Military Academy, police, ACHD, Idaho Transportation Department, cosmetology. I mean, the list just kept going on and on and on and on. It was so well organized, and having all the students go with their parents. I saw so many of them with their parents, like thinking about new opportunities on where they could take their career, as well as, of course, the colleges that were also there. It's so impressive. I'm so impressed with the counseling department for putting it together, and I'm just so proud of West Ada for doing that event. It's the highlight of the year for me, and I can't wait to see it again next year.
Aye, aye. That's awesome. All right. Any future agenda items? All right. I'm open to a motion to adjourn. Trustee McCullough.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Trustee Brown.
I second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We will adjourn at 8:35. Good night.